Next, Kathy did a body shot off CK, and like, that's not a body shot, or at least that's not the version of a body shot I saw on MTV's Spring Break when I was growing up. Hi everyone, my name is Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. This is going to be a pretty short review because nothing happened. Just a few quick things I want to point out about the episode before we get started in the review. First, whose idea was it to start an episode with water aerobics? I'm sorry y'all, this was just such a poor creative choice to like start the episode with older people doing water aerobics. Just was not it. I love that the younger contestants joined in, but I don't care, this still was just not it. Next, Kathy did a body shot off CK, and like, that's not a body shot, or at least that's not the version of a body shot I saw on MTV's Spring Break when I was growing up. So for a body shot, you actually pour the liquor into the belly button, but they probably just can't do that on ABC. So I get it. But when I saw the shot glass, the extra tall shot glass on CK, I was like, that's not how you do it. And lastly, I keep forgetting that Hannah B is on this show, and I also keep forgetting Kim is here too. Okay, let's dive into the episode. So for this week's episode, ABC started to give the Goldens more of a storyline. I'm probably gonna sound like a hater. I still didn't think it was interesting, but I do like that they made them less of a secondary storyline. The episode starts and Natasha and RJ have a one-on-one. I thought their one-on-one was really cute, and I thought they had more chemistry than she did with Gary. And in their conversation, Natasha talks about wanting to move somewhere that's mostly warm year round. And then RJ kind of like claps back and was like, oh, we have 4 seasons: football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. And like, I don't know if I could live somewhere that didn't have seasons. Maybe because I'm younger right now, maybe I'll feel differently in retirement, but I would miss having seasons. And if you're from a place that has like heavy snow or brutal winters, I get it. But in DC, we have like mild winters. Like it usually, like it snows, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like Chicago or anything. Next, Gary arrives to Paradise and he is the new bombshell of the Goldens. So this is just an opinion. I think it's kind of weird. So I just feel like the Goldens need to have a different formatting for the way they're introduced and then brought into the show. So they're bringing the Goldens in as bombshells just like they would do the Golden contestants. And I don't think it's working. I wish they would have like the Goldens play some sort of game or something and then introduce them. Actually, introducing him during water aerobics would have been perfect. And I feel the same about the cocktail party too. Watching some of the Goldens try to get a rose last minute at the cocktail party, it was sad, almost borderline depressing to watch. Like ABC needs to like format this differently or something. Let me know below in the comments if anyone else felt that way. For the younger contestants, if they were like trying to get a rose, I was just like, oh, whatever. I guess because like when they go back to the real world, they'll be fine. But watching the Goldens do it, I don't know. It was like, it was kind of sad to watch. So Gary connects with Natasha and Leslie, and he ends up choosing Leslie for a date. And for the date, they go salsa dancing. And also, salsa dancing in Costa Rica, like that didn't seem correct to me. I think salsa is Cuban, or it could be Mexican. I'm pretty sure salsa is not Costa Rican. Like, I don't know what dance they have in Costa Rica, but I'm pretty sure it's not salsa. And not to say you can't do salsa in Costa Rica, but I don't think that's like a dance that's typically done there. Sorry for that random sidebar. I took a lot of Spanish classes in school, so I thought I'd drop some knowledge on y'all. Next, if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and pound that like button. Anyways, so Gary and Leslie go on the date, and personally, I don't think they had that much connection, but I will be honest with you all. When it comes to the Goldens, I usually don't pay as much of attention, and it's not because I'm ageist, it's just they're not that interesting to me, and they're just a little too corny a lot of time. But in defense of the Goldens, Wells at one point said the Goldens are more open and fun, and that is so true. Like the Goldens are having so much fun on this beach, and it's very clear the younger contestants are like so concerned about their image that they're holding back. It's messing up the show. Anyways, we go to the rose ceremony, And then in the first gag of the rose ceremony, but I didn't think it was really that much of a gag, Natasha chooses Gary. Like I said earlier, I thought Natasha had more of a connection with RJ, and her choosing Gary felt like to me she just wanted camera time and maybe an interesting storyline. And Leslie was gonna choose Gary after having such an amazing date, but Gary already had a rose, so Leslie ended up choosing Kim, I think. And this was interesting for two reasons. First, why did Gary accept the rose? Like, I don't understand why Gary didn't wait and for Leslie, because like, did he not think Leslie was gonna pick him? Also, Gary is very much a gentleman, and he no shade, I just feel like he didn't want to embarrass Natasha by like turning it down. That could have been it as well. And then the next day, Kim starts pursuing Leslie, and he's like reciting poetry to her, and y'all, it was just like, it was so cringe to watch. But again, in defense of the Goldens, to me, a lot of the Golden men seem to have a bit more game than the younger male contestants. And this is actually like really interesting because the Golden men in general just come from a different era before iPhones. So they had to like pursue women, pursue them in person. They had to like be charming and know how to talk to women. And you can kind of tell with younger contestants, it's an art form that's almost like kind of lost. And don't get me wrong, the younger contestants this season are not terrible, but if you watch Love Island, you will see when it comes to Gen Z, like they are doomed. Next, let's talk about Kat and Dale. So Kat is upset because Dale kissed Ally Joe, but he didn't tell her until she asked. And y'all, I thought this argument was like pretty ridiculous. Like, we are grasping for straws and we are grasping for a storyline. And not only that, don't ask a question if you don't want to know the answer. Kat, why are you asking if Dale kissed someone else if you knew that was gonna upset you? And I understand Kat's argument. Kat is very much like, well, if I watched this back and I didn't know about it, that wouldn't feel good. And y'all, in general, if you go on a reality TV and dating show and you end up finding someone, don't watch the show back. Love is Blind is literally the perfect example of this. If you go on a reality dating show and the stars align correctly and you find your person and you two end up together and you are happy, do not watch the show back. Just accept that the stars align correctly and you don't need to watch it back to find out how. Just know that things fell into place. And not only that, Dale chose Kat. We got through the rose ceremony. Ally Joe is gone. He chose you and likes you more than Ally Joe. Like, why does this even matter at this point? And Kat argues that Dale is just not being open enough for her, and it just feels like we grasping for straws. So then fast forward later in the episode, Kat and Dale are like arguing again about the same argument, and y'all, Dale did not care. Like, Dale, like, Kat kept digging in, and Dale just really didn't care. So after that, Kat has a one-on-one with Jonathan because Jonathan is in search of a rose and Kat and Dale are on the rocks, and it's very clear to everyone else in Costa Rica. And this was some of the most Gemini I have ever seen in my life. Kat was getting a rise out of flirting with Jonathan in front of Dale's face because they're in an argument, and it was just, y'all, such Gemini behavior. So then fast forward, Kat chooses Dale in the rose ceremony, and then after the rose ceremony, they get in another argument basically over the same thing. And this shows that Kat really wasn't that mad, because if you were really mad, you wouldn't have chose Dale. You would have chose Jonathan, or you would have chose someone else and moved on. And it was so silly to me that Kat brought up the argument again after the rose ceremony, because like, you chose Dale, you clearly want to move forward, so you need to move past this argument. Like, why are we still bringing this up and arguing about this? And then when they're arguing, Dale says, I'm conscious of the environments around me and judgments people place. I try to be private with certain things to protect my relationships. And like, if that's the case, why are you even on reality TV? And last thing I want to say about this, so at one point, Dale went to a few of the guys to talk about this argument, and Kat went to some of the girls, and nobody called either of them out, telling them they're doing a little too much. I think both Dale and Kat were doing a little too much. And in general, Kat pulling out all the dramatics like this was wild to me, because you ended up choosing him in the rose ceremony anyway. Next, let's talk about the rose ceremony and the cocktail party a little bit. So at the top of the cocktail party, I believe, Jeremy and Bailey swapped gum, and that is so disgusting. Swapping gum and sharing toothbrushes, that is so gross to me. After that, during the rose ceremony, a lot of the Goldens were vying for April's rose. I'm pretty sure that's her name. Just a heads up, y'all, I watched Golden Bachelorette, but I didn't watch Golden Bachelor, so I definitely struggle with the Golden Bachelor contestants' names. So Kim has a one-on-one with April, and he flat out tells her he's not interested in her romantically, but I guess he does still want her rose, and like low-key, I respected that. I said this when I was reviewing Golden Bachelorette. So Kim is a good guy. He is just not good at expressing his emotions, and he's a little too honest. Like, he needs to just learn to sugarcoat a little more. But he was in the military for like 20 or 30 years or something, so I'm not surprised he's not very good at that. And Jack was also fighting for April's rose as well. The only difference is I feel like Jack played his cards way better than Kim did, but Jack is not into April either. This is just my opinion. April is a good person, but she has this like 365 party girl hippie personality, and only certain guys are going to be into that. And for the most part, the Golden Bachelors, they're more clean cut, and April really isn't their type. So then we go to the rose ceremony, and in the next gag, April, one of the Goldens, ends up choosing Jonathan, one of the younger contestants, to give her rose because she felt like he deserves another chance at love and she wants him to stay another week. This was fine. I like Jonathan, so I don't mind that he's staying longer, but I like for the show to have some stakes, and I like when people get sent home because it just, I don't know, it just makes the show feel more intense. When you save people like this, it's just like, oh, like, I don't know, the show, I don't know, I don't love that. I like there to be stakes. And sidebar, I was kind of bummed Jack left. He was probably my favorite Golden, and I also liked him on the Golden Bachelorette too, so I was a little bummed that he left. It wasn't a huge deal, but I was slightly bummed. And next week, we get 2 new bombshells. Leia is annoying, and Nancy, I really don't know much about her because I didn't watch Golden Bachelorette, so if you have any tea, put it in the comments. And last thing, to wrap up the video, so they gave her a season preview at the end of the episode, and apparently they're going to be turning Paradise into a game show, and the contestants will have a chance to win $500,000. I think this only goes for the younger contestants. Like, I don't know if the Goldens will have an opportunity, but from the previews it didn't look like it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below about ABC basically turning this into a game show. I'm very curious what y'all think. And I am genuinely shocked the prize money is $500,000. So I know ABC and Disney have like plenty of money, but like, does the show have ratings like that still to justify just giving away $500,000? And like, I could see if a brand or something sponsored the show, but that just seems like a lot. Like, they could have done like half that amount and still had the same effect. And not only that, so Jens Holtz, 6195, I think that's how you say it. She said one of the showrunners this season is from Love Island, and I totally believe it. They have lifted so many things from Love Island this season, it's like crazy. So on Love Island, there is a cash prize to the favorite couple, and Bachelor adding this and making them do these games, it feels like straight up lifted from Love Island. But I'm not mad at it because we need something to turn this show around. And that's all I got. If you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.